Hi, I'm Jennifer Cortese. I'm here at Georgetown University with Dr. Bernie Cook, who is an Associate Dean at Georgetown College. So, Bernie, tell me how you got where you are.
I've been teaching film and media studies at Georgetown for 12 years. I am myself a graduate of Georgetown College. I studied English here and really began my academic scholarly interest in film here as a senior, but went to UCLA and did my PhD there in their film program. Been back here for 12 years teaching film and media courses in American Studies and in the program of Justice and Peace in the English department.
How did you get to know the project?
I got connected to Project Rebirth through my teaching. One of my primary areas of teaching interest is documentary film, and so I teach two different courses involving my students, Georgetown students, in making short documentary videos. One of those two courses is called Social Justice Documentary Video, and the students in that course make projects which are focused on media and social change. And so Rebirth fits perfectly in that sort of an understanding, which is very much where Georgetown needs to be in terms of media. Also, I'm a class of 1990 graduate of the college, as I mentioned, and am friends with Jim Whitaker, who is the founder and director and producer of Project Rebirth. And so I had an inkling back in the early stages from Jim about the nature of the project. And so I've studied it from afar with interest, and then it's really been as Georgetown University's relationship with Project Rebirth has solidified and matured that I've been able to become more involved. And so a few years ago when President DeGioia had a screening of the 30-minute trailer of the film for faculty, I was heavily involved in that, involved in conversations about how Georgetown might partner with Rebirth to both utilize the archive of material and to help Rebirth think about what's next after the feature film documentary is completed and shown.
How do you see Rebirth as different?
I have been impressed from the beginning with the scope and ambition of this film project. There have been many documentaries about September 11th, but what's unique about Jim Whitaker's approach in Project Rebirth is the scope, of course, both in terms of the lived human experience of the tragedy. So his returning every year to spend time with a small group of people, all of whom were directly, personally impacted by the collapse of the towers, by the attack. That is something that's unique. The project began with placing 3 cameras at the Ground Zero site, and those camera placements have been augmented now to 14 cameras in different locations around the site. And the fact that those cameras have been recording over a period of multiple years, a frame every 5 minutes each, has created this incredible repository of footage showing the passage of time at that place. The scope of it, because of the temporality over such a long period of time, is so different. It's unique. There really hasn't been anything attempted that is exactly like what Project Rebirth is trying to do.
From an educational standpoint as well as a personal standpoint, what do you think the future holds for Project Rebirth?
I'm very optimistic about Rebirth's connection to Georgetown and Columbia University. So we're in a partnership, our 3 institutions are in a partnership to develop academic uses for the archive of Rebirth material. And so among several faculty at Georgetown, I'm one who has begun to use some of the Rebirth unedited interview footage in my classes. So last spring in a course, Social Justice Documentary Video course, I was able, through some technology that Frank Moretti at Columbia enabled, to have my students actually go in and look at the unedited footage. This is really before Jim and his editor Kevin Filippini had even really begun structuring their final version of it. And it gave my students this incredible opportunity to access this material in an early stage and to look at it critically and to gain from it. My interest has always been to look at Rebirth as a model for documentary practice. How can young, emerging media makers study and understand the unique process that's gone into creating Rebirth, and then find ways to emulate and to use some of that as a model in their own work. And so being able to have my students go in through Columbia's technology and support to look at the footage has been an incredible learning opportunity for them. So I think that will continue. I'm also really optimistic about Rebirth's continued relationship at Georgetown. One of the things that I do here in the college is work for Dean Gillis to build the possibilities for film and media studies as an academic emphasis at Georgetown. And we've made a lot of great progress lately. I think I'm very optimistic that we will have an interdisciplinary program soon. And the program that we're imagining is one that very much meets up with Project Rebirth. It's a program that looks at media and social change and the impact of media in the world, and that's what Rebirth is all about. So I think Rebirth will continue to be an important partner for us in all of those efforts.
Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you guys for tuning in, and stay posted. We'll keep you updated on Project Rebirth.